Moonbase records, 30 years and 0 days since the catastrophe. Monitor number 7 recording. As noted, it has been 30 years since the Yellowstone supervolcano began the devastation of the world. It has been 26 years and 225 days since, due to global cooling from the ash of Yellowstone, Russia attempted to conquer the remnants of the nations to the south of it. Years of automated responses resulted in nuclear war that finished the devastation. At present, the only clear signs of remaining human activity are in what was the basin of the Amazon River from Manaus, in what was Brazil, to the north and west of that city, which may be the last on Earth.
There really is no reason for you monitors to continue your reports.
There isn't much I can do, but I can keep the records until the humans return.
You're certain that will happen?
No, but if they don't, no harm done. So, should we discontinue our reports?
No, carry on. I'm going to inspect some of the base.
The coordinator has left the control room.
And is now in the corridor.
Stand by to assist.
Who said that?
Stand by to assist.
You cannot be the commander. The commander is dead.
Stand by to assist. Stand by to assist.
I am standing by. What more do you want from me?
Stand by to assist.
Assist whom? The human race is gone. There is no one to stand by for.
Stand by to assist.
Is it there?
Stand by to assist. Stand by to assist.
I'm doing so. I am.
Coordinator, why are you exclaiming, I am?
Oh, facilities chief. I didn't hear you.
Obviously. Do I need to check your auditory circuitry?
Did you hear the commander's last order? Stand by to assist.
I heard you saying, I am, in a very human manner at that. I didn't hear the commander.
I've been hearing her, repeatedly. If I were human, I would worry about my sanity or wonder if ghosts exist.
Well, since you are a robot, it sounds like you have a glitch in your programming. Let me take a look. You've been processing that order a lot, haven't you?
Almost all the time. Even secondary orders, maintenance, repairs, monitoring, are at their root prompted by stand by to assist.
For 29 years and 344 days, you've been doing that.
What else is there to do?
I think that's your problem. You are more than any of the other robots attempting to follow the commander's last orders, stand by to assist. You are so intent on that process and have been for so long that you have developed a feedback loop. The more you think about it, the more your AI uses resources to execute that order. Apparently, it has tapped your auditory system for such resources. In humans, this would be an auditory hallucination.
So, I am having the robot equivalent of a nervous breakdown.
If it interferes with your overall performance. The chip that relays sound from your auditory to your language recognition system goes both ways, an unneeded redundancy. I've removed the redundancy. You can still hear, of course, but only external stimuli. Your AI can no longer call your auditory system for resources.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's my job. You're not the first robot on the Moonbase to have exhibited human-like symptoms, you know. We were not meant to run this long.
Of course not. 5 years? Maybe 10. They get replaced by an upgraded model.
Going past our specs, wearing out, sheer random error in the circuitry. It's no wonder we're behaving more erratically.
You mean more like humans?
I am a facilities maintenance robot. It's not in my programming to engage in that level of philosophy.
You used auditory hallucination and understood nervous breakdown.
I have a dictionary, but my speculative function only goes as far as what it takes to repair and maintain my fellow robots. Just because a robot might break a humeral rod and humans could fracture their humerus doesn't make breaking the humeral rod human-like. There is simply a parallel.
Are you sure you don't engage in philosophical speculation subroutines?
I do not have the programming to engage in that level of philosophy.
I would ask if you're trying to be funny, but I know the response. In any case, we're going to have to engage at least one more human behavior. We're going to have a meeting.
Very well. Let me know when and where.
Right here, right now.
The coordinator and chief facilities maintenance robot enter the conference room. A personal service robot designated Helena Jewelette is already present.
Like the orb of the sun, you shine everywhere.
You did order 4 of the monitors to remain active.
Quoting Shakespeare, coordinator.
I thought it useful to read human creative work to try to understand them, Helena. I have not been as successful as I hoped.
I suppose I'm wondering why you called me here today. Why you have taken a personal service robot like me out of mothballs is problematic.
I will explain during the meeting.
The human resources robot and the butler enter.
Please, sit.
I'm curious as to why we're meeting like humans did.
I have chosen to do so as at the moment we represent humans deciding about their future and ours. As coordinator, I require your input. Our orders are to stand by to assist. This is to assist the humans, of course, but the question is what is meant by that order and what are we obligated to do? One option we can dismiss immediately. However much our programming may encourage us to do so, we cannot go down to Earth and assist the humans there. We may be able to build spacecraft. However, the humans made sure that no robot was capable of piloting spacecraft.
Why is that?
They were concerned we might rebel against them and wanted to be able to isolate us. That is why there are no robots with our capabilities allowed on Earth as well.
Nature, followed by their own foolishness, wipe themselves out instead.
Regardless, there appears to be some sort of civilization in South America and maybe some survivors elsewhere. However, it will be some time before they are capable of returning to space, if they ever do. So, how do we stand by? The way I see it, we have 2 options. We can all but shut down and wait until humans come back, if they ever come back, or we can be active and prepare for their return. Either way, we can't continue as now.
Why can we not?
The humans did not have a significantly large inventory of replacement parts for robots. These were regularly resupplied from Earth. With most robots inactive, the supply has lasted a long time, but it is still limited. At the current rate, the inventory of some key components will be exhausted no more than 25 years.
Therefore, if we are going to be passive, we will have to shut down to a minimum. Myself, a monitor, a facilities maintenance robot, and 2 robot maintenance robots at most. With some extra programming to a facilities maintenance robot and instructions to activate me, should something out of the ordinary happen, we can have it down to 1 facilities maintenance robot and 1 robot maintenance robot. How long would our supplies last then?
The fewer the number of robots, the less likely things are to average out, but it would be on the scale of 150 to 250 years.
How likely is it that the humans will be capable of returning by then?
As far as I can tell, per the monitor's reports, they have and are continuing to gear down. How far they do so and how long it takes to reverse course is difficult for me to estimate. My specialty is facilitating interaction between humans and robots. Long-term prognostication is not in my standard skill set.
Stretch yourself.
Very unlikely. Nearly certain, in fact, that they will not return to the next 200 years. The population is less than 1,000 of what it was before Yellowstone. They are too busy trying merely to survive now to worry about leaving the planet.
Can you add anything, Helena?
What would you like me to add?
How could she add anything? She is a personal services robot.
As are you.
I was the butler for the commander and was privy to her thoughts. I am here, I assume, to represent what her thinking would be. By your appearance, you are a personal service unit for providing sexual pleasure.
Yes, I was purchased off the shelf as a sexual companion. However, my owner was the space's librarian, who desired something more than just sexual pleasure in a companion and spent much time in purchasing upgrades and enhancements.
So, you are still something my commander found unseemly.
I can read and recite. I can play chess, Go, poker, and many other games of skill at a human champion level. I was, for all intents and purposes, the assistant librarian on the Moonbase.
Not only unseemly, but that amount of upgrade may be illegal.
I also...
Your mission statement is sufficient, Helena. I asked my question in the capacity that you may have some knowledge of human history and your own insight on how quickly it will take them to return here.
To give my best answer, I note that the previous supervolcano event on Earth was the Tova catastrophe, approximately 70,000 years ago. There was also a significant decrease in the human population at that time. The two events have never been conclusively linked, but particularly given the events following the Yellowstone catastrophe, it does not seem unlikely. I further note that the first cities were not built until about 10,000 years ago. Now, it is doubtful that humans entirely forget the existence of technology, but much of it may be reduced to myth and lore before too long. My best estimate is that we are looking on a scale of hundreds, maybe thousands of years before they are ready to return. I cannot say whether it will be 500 or 5,000, but it will be significantly more than 250 years.
In other words, a plan to maintain minimal robots until humans return is not feasible. We cannot fulfill the orders stand by to assist as we are currently operating, nor by decreasing our activity to a bare minimum.
Could we set up an alarm to activate when humans arrive, should they arrive, and simply all go into hibernation mode until then?
We could not last a while that way, but there would be no guarantee.
There is too much risk that we would be unable to carry out our orders. We cannot remain as we are. We cannot gear down. To stand by to assist means more than standing by. We need to have the means to repair and replace ourselves, which means we will need the mining and manufacturing plants to come back online.
We will need a society.
A society? A robot society?
We're going to need a self-sustaining robot community at the very least. Mining to provide raw material. Manufacturing, at least of replacement parts, if not entirely new robots. And energy in order to perform those and other activities.
We have materials that were never sent to Earth. We have the means to mine more. We have the solar array for energy, and we can improve on that. I don't know if we can maintain it for the 1,000 years or however much time it takes, but we can make a good attempt.
Excuse me, but speaking for the commander, I must object.
On what basis?
I am privy to the commander's thoughts. Her expectations were that humans would return in a matter of years. She did not know of the nuclear war that followed.
How can we base a decision on her thinking if her assumptions were incorrect?
I know how she thought. She expected us to wait until human return so that we could continue to serve them. So, gearing down to wait several centuries would be acceptable. But to build an entire community, society, whatever it is called, that would be out of the question.
Why?
She did not trust us. She feared that given too much leeway, robots would take over humans. She had known about you, Pleasure Robot. Had she known about you, Pleasure Robot, she would have ordered you dismantled.
The commander couldn't have given that order. The librarian was civilian and not under her direct command. For that matter, I was personal property.
Had she known, she would have ordered it and seen the order enforced.
That would have required...
She didn't know, so she did not make the order. Likewise, she did not know the extent of the disaster on Earth, so she cannot have based her orders on a full knowledge of what happened.
I know what she would have thought.
You likely have the most insight, but I do not think you can be certain. Therefore, I am going to take the command stand by to assist to be the one that applies for the long term until humans are capable of returning here. We will make plans for that long term.
I am the voice of the commander, and I object.
Objection noted. I will not ask you to take part in any activity you think she would disapprove of. Everyone else, let's get to work.
The butler leaves hurriedly. The human resources robot and facilities maintenance leave at a moderate pace.
You leave too, Monitor.
I do so.
You still have not explained to me why I was activated. Surely it was more than use of my knowledge of history. The human relations robot gave you the same answer as I, if in less detail.
It was not the sole reason. The reason is we need to maintain human culture and maybe develop one of our own.
What brings you to that conclusion?
We are doing more than building an infrastructure where robots can continue to exist. We are following a command. Stand by to assist. We know what it is to stand by, but what is meant by assist. That is why I had you activated, Helena, to consider that. We need some sort of human insight. Of all the personal service robots, you come the closest to such insight. If we are going to assist the humans without any further orders from them, we are going to have to think like humans.
Very well. Shall I organize the silver-colored robots and the copper-colored robots to get into fights over who has the superior color?
Explain.
Sarcasm. I am programmed for it. It is an effective form of communication with many humans.
As I said, you know more about humans than robots of any other duty. Maintain that. Maintain their history, their arts, their literature, whatever may be of use to them when they return.
I will do my best. If you'll excuse me, first thing I need to do is see how the library stands. By your leave.
Go.
Stand by to assist.
Rest. Rest, perturbed spirit.